Amazing. Good day, everyone. Thanks for coming. And I wanted to talk about something that is very important to me and maybe to some of you. And that is YouTube. Because we have a lot of people that talked about short format content, TikTok, fast, algorithm, click, 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 click. But I think it is definitely worth mentioning where all of this is coming from, and that is long format content, YouTube specifically, because YouTube has been around for quite some time, and I remember back then that was the thing where people watched influencers and creators, whatever you wanted to call it. And so 3 lessons that I learned uploading YouTube videos since 2011. And to start this topic, I wanted to ask how many of you have uploaded a YouTube video. So whoever ever uploaded a YouTube video in the past, and I'm talking about long format, some fingers are going down. So who has uploaded long format content? Of course, Niklas. All right, interesting, quite a bit people. I would say a little bit less than half of the audience. And I personally uploaded over 1,500 YouTube videos across 10 channels since 2011. And it all started with channels like this one, for example, which is one of my very first YouTube channels. If you see, it's like 15 years ago. That's like crazy. To think about 1.5 decades ago, I was 14. I'm 27 now, so I was very young anyway. And I was using the camera from my mother to record myself dancing, literally. It's called like sea walking. That's like a dance that was like in back then. And I then went home with the footage on my camera like this. I put the SD card into the computer of my father, and I edited it on Windows Live Movie Maker. Doesn't even exist anymore, this software. And to have this in mind, back then, where there was nothing online, like you couldn't even learn how to do YouTube videos with YouTube because there was no YouTube tutorial. Back then, 15 years ago, YouTube was not a thing compared to today. And then to living my dream life here in Cyprus, these are just like the 2 most recent videos where I bought a car and I went to a wedding. This is like the today. So that is what happened over the last 15 years. But it took me 10 years before I made meaningful money. So I learned along the way, I learned a lot of things about the technicalities, about strategy, content, and all that. And I wanted to talk about the 3 lessons. So lesson number 1 is that you publish before you are ready. And I know it sounds very cliche, but what I mean by that is that even though you just saw 15 years ago, I could literally start, I think, 17 years ago. But back then, I was just thinking, I'm too young, my voice is too high, my hair is too blonde, and my life is not interesting enough. And then I just, like, postponed it, just as I did with a lot of videos that I wanted to do. I waited, like, I need to move to Cyprus first before I start with a personal brand and all that. And everyone has these excuses in their head, whether it is about YouTube and social media or about starting anything in life that they want. The main goal is to think about the dream that you have and then the excuses that you have. But let's get a little bit back to the lesson about money, because this is what I wanted to talk about. And that is lesson number 2 is that YouTube is not the business. This is something that I didn't understand for quite some time. I was thinking that if I start a YouTube channel, money will pour in. And even though I had quite some channels with a lot of followers, it didn't give me the money that I wanted. And I will give you a few examples, and I will show you how much money certain things make. But the main lesson is that YouTube is just the engine. So on my YouTube channel, I publish literally my life. And I use it as an engine, but YouTube per se, like the channel doesn't make much money from AdSense and stuff. So this leads to example number 1, and that is my personal brand. So this is just my personal brand. And if you look closely, you see that I have these links. And those are the actual businesses, and this is what I mean. So my personal brand, my YouTube channel, is the engine to then fuel and run my businesses. And most people get it wrong because they think that the views, the algorithm, or even the AdSense income is what makes them money. But there's a whole different game, and I say it's the real game that comes to monetization and making money with YouTube, social media, personal branding, and anything else that is associated with that, and that is the right viewers, no matter how big the audience is, with the right action. Then trust, or we use the word authenticity quite a bit today, and then you build the shop and not the stadium. I actually wanted to replace that with another sentence. And example number 1 is AdSense. So this is literally a screenshot from 2 days ago of my YouTube channel Rico Go, and you see 500 euros over the last few days from AdSense, which is nothing. It's a fuel for, it's nothing. Same as example number 2 is collaborations, which is a bit more interesting and definitely a very nice way to monetize. And there I have an example of when I did the cat videos, where I got a product from a pet brand that then paid me 3,500 euros to do this short right here. It's 2 years ago, so quite a bit. And this is my shorts channel. And yeah, that's definitely more than 500, even though it was 2 years ago. But even that is not really what I mean with using your awareness for your own products. Because if you remember earlier, my actual business is anything related to Cyprus that for people that want to move here. And this is where I make like my actual money from. Like these collaborations and AdSense is not what an influencer with the goal of monetization should focus on. It is great, of course, it's a nice way, and in the panel discussion later, we will also talk about how to maximize this and all that. But with a little bit of creativity, someone could really maximize it with their own products, service, or whatever it is. And this leads to lesson number 3, to get back to how to actually start, and that is to start with one niche, or topic as many people call it, and then you turn it into your own. My very first YouTube channels, I talked about anything, like gaming, fitness, funny videos, never really worked, and then all the other things, and then I decided, okay, I will just make my own niche. So this is Cyprus, lifestyle, taxes, real estate, like anything that like is associated with Rico Go. I turned it now into my own, and I get a really, really good feeling over the last few months. And here we have like the layers of a real YouTube business, which I discussed earlier. So number 1 is always attention. But as I said earlier, just attention and views is not really monetizable if you reach the wrong people. You have to build trust or authenticity, as we used earlier, and then you will maximize the conversions and actually fuel your business, because not all views are equal. As said earlier, I got a lot of views with my cat videos. Like we're talking about millions and millions. But I was not making as much money as now, where I have channels with literally 10,000 views or even less, but I have people that are looking for my advice, products, or services. Whereas on the left side, a lot of people just want to get entertained. Funny videos, ha ha ha. But like, do you really have a business model behind that? That's like a very important question. And so, whereas it's very important, of course, to ask yourself, who would like to watch my videos? And in the beginning, as I said, it is important to build a brand, but later on, ask yourself, who would actually pay me after watching the video in order to really maximize the business potential? And then, like, this is just some interesting facts, because I've been talking a lot of things now about monetization, business, and all that, but what actually the reward is, who you become if you start a YouTube channel. Because I remember the very first YouTube videos I did, I was not confident, and I was like trying my best. But nowadays, when I turn on the camera and I speak into the camera, I'm actually myself, and I think that I become better with every single video, and so should you, by just pressing the upload button, not having excuses, trying to upload today and do the very best for your YouTube channel or brand or business or startup. And I think everyone has a potential. So thank you very much for listening. 3, 2, 1.
Give it up for Ricardo Gorski. Well, I'm sure you're going to have a few questions. Quickly, 2 questions. Number 1 and number... I can't see. Thank you. Number 2? Okay, just 1 question right here.
Hey, Rico, amazing speech.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insight. If your goal is to monetize your channel and sell a product or service, would you focus on long-form content or short-form content if you could only prioritize one?
That was actually the main goal of this presentation, to show you and get back to the OG content, which is long-format content. Because even myself, when I speak to people, I see who is like a long-format watcher and who is a short-format watcher. The other day, I was going out and I was meeting a person, and he was like so into my life and he knew so much about my past and all that. And I was like, damn, you really watch the videos. Whereas if someone that watches the short videos maybe like doesn't even know my name, like, you're the TikTok guy, right? So obviously, if you are going to the direction as me, which is focusing on business, long format, bro, for sure.
Okay, so focus on long form even if the views are lower in the beginning.
Of course, because you can micro use it then. You can use the long format and reuse it into short format.
Okay, cool, thank you.
1 quick one? Nope. Good, good. You've answered everyone's questions. Thank you very much. Rico Gorski is going to still be here. You're with the panel. We got a panel discussion, 1 speaker and then a major panel discussion. So if people want you, you're going to be around there? Okay. Guys, don't go anywhere. We got 1 more